We all have those shows in which we think are some of the worst pieces of media. And today, I wanted to talk about my personal animes, which I think are some of the worst to ever do it. But if this is the first time we're meeting, howdy, I'm Palpers. Fair warning, don't take this to heart. If you like the shows, you like the shows. I just want to talk about shows that I don't like. There's 5 in here, so just know that it's in no particular order. I hate them equally. So let's hop right into it. All right, so the first show I have on this list is called FLCL. And most of you guys have probably heard about this. A lot of you probably love it. A lot of you probably hate it. But this show, for me, I watched 2 episodes and I couldn't do it. I literally could not do it. For me, the plot was just straight up confusing. The graphics almost gave me epilepsy or a seizure. It is one of those animes that just spew colors in your face and you really don't even know what's going on. The way they explain the story is kind of not good, and the story isn't good itself. Some dude meets a girl on a motorcycle, she hits his head ends up getting a bump. Bro, if you guys like this show, can you please tell me why you like this show? Because me, when I'm watching it, or when I watched it, I was like, I can't do this. I don't even think I finished the 2nd episode when I was watching that. It was honestly very, very, very hard to finish FLCL, and if you guys liked it, let me know down below why you liked it. Let me know if I'm bugging, tripping, all that. So let's go to the next anime. So the next anime, I tried to like this show, right? Just don't get, but before I even tell you, I tried to like this show. I genuinely did. And that show is Black Butler. And when I was watching Black Butler, I was like, okay, the plot is subpar, the characters are okay, you know. I just couldn't do it, bro. I couldn't do it. You know, I started watching this during the beginning days of my anime binging days, and that was when I was 15, 16, and I tried to like it. It was big in the anime community at the time. People were loving Black Butler. People loved Sebastian. He was one of the most popular husbandos at the time. People loved Ciel. Was the last name Ciel? Bro, I don't even remember this guy's name. But that plot was honestly so subpar. I don't know what I was expecting. And in the show, the way they sexualize Sebastian, I'm like, yo, this dude was beating Doonies. He was beating Doonies I was like, nah, that's the final straw, bro. I was like, what is going on? If you asked me anything about the show, I wouldn't really be able to answer. When I was watching it, I really did have high expectations for it, because the way people would talk about Black Butler, you would think that it was a good show. You would think the way the community and the way people on the internet were talking about this show, you would think it's a pretty good show. But for me, I couldn't do it. I couldn't do it. And I know a lot of you probably love Black Butler, oh, this dude's crazy, but I couldn't do it. The action I didn't like. The romance, I don't even remember if there was romance in that show. I just couldn't do it. I don't know. And then the relationship between Sebastian and him, it was a little weird, bro. I don't know, bro. Black Butler is just one of those shows that if you told me to rewatch it, I probably will never in my life ever click on Black Butler again, because it just was not for me. Was not for me. All right, so the third show I want to talk about here is a fan favorite show that you guys probably love. Just kidding. A lot people. I think the anime community in collective agree that this show was just a dumpster fire, and that is Domestic Girlfriend. Bro, Domestic Girlfriend was a show where I was like, okay, I could watch this, right? But it was just all over the place. This dude, I don't know what the plot was. I don't know how that person thought of writing Domestic Girlfriend the way they I think it's a she. I don't know how she thought of the plot like that. A homie starts dating his sister, a homie smashes a girl, but then that girl ended up becoming his sister-in-law. Bro, I don't know what was going on. I mean, stepsister, but I don't know what was going on in that plot. And plus, it was a love triangle between both of his sisters. Bro, that thing was all. I even tried to like it, but then they try to make you feel bad for certain characters. They try to make, I don't know what was going on. And then they introduced that pink-haired girl who was getting tossed around by everybody else. And then she wanted the MC, but the MC wanted his sister. Bro, listen, and I heard that the manga gets even worse. I heard the manga is even worse. I hear that, spoilers ahead for Domestic Girlfriend if you even care about it, but I hear that he ends up having a kid with Rui, but then he ends up marrying the other sister? What the heck? What type of plot is that? Bro, respectfully, that show was not for me. When I was watching it, I was like, oh, this opening go hard. Which that's heat. Once I heard that, I was like, this show finna be fire. This show finna be fire. But then the opening scene happens. The next 5 minutes happens. The next 8 episodes happen. I'm like, yo, what am I watching? What am I watching? Because there's no way that this guy greenlit for an anime. The animation was pretty good, but the plot, not for me. not for me. And the fourth show I wanna mention is a show that I kind of mention a lot that like I kind of do dislike, and most of you guys know this. Like most of you guys probably know all the shows on this list that I have, and that is Beyond the Boundary, right? Beyond the Boundary isn't like, I can see why somebody would like it. I can see why it has an audience. I can see why people say, oh, pal, you're bugging with this one. But for me, when I was watching it, I genuinely tried to enjoy it. I was like just watching it. I was like that watching it, bro. I watched the movie, I watched the show, I think I watched all the OVAs. I'm not even sure if it has OVAs, but I watched every piece of content for Beyond the Boundary. The power system was pretty cool, you know, it was pretty cool, but it felt like the action just wasn't there. The romance wasn't even good. Some of the episodes felt like filler, like the one where they were on the roof, the school rooftop, just as idols. Like, what was going on there? What was going on? I don't even know what was going on. Like, I was trying to like the show, but it felt like they only had really one big action scene, and that was at the end, and it didn't even seem like that like the world was at stake with the last part. It just I tried to like Beyond the Boundary. People loved it. For me, I started watching it because the main girl, I like her aesthetic, the glasses, you know, the pink hair. I like the aesthetic, right? But when I was watching this, I was like, what is going on? Why is she trying to kill Big Homie? Why is Big Homie just letting her stab him? Wait, Big Homie's the strongest because he's a half? Like, bro, I like some of the characters. Like, for example, the brother with the sister complex, he was dope. He was dope. The sister was dope. The MC was pretty cool, and then the girl was pretty cool. But just the premise and the plot of it all, like were they an action show? Were they a romance? Like I feel like they didn't do anything they were shooting for correctly. They didn't do anything they were shooting for correctly. And that's just my thoughts on Beyond the Boundary. Let me know if you guys rocked with it, because me personally, no. And the final show I have on here is a show that people like. If you like romance and if you like, you know, that genre of anime, you probably like this show, and it's Janibio. I don't know the full name of it, but Janibio for me was honestly not good. I started watching it because it was like very big. Like I was seeing edits of her, like, I don't know, I thought it was an action anime. When you go into it, because for me, I was very big into AMVs, right? So I would watch so many AMVs on Vine, on IG. Like, I was watching these AMVs, and the way they would edit it would be like, it was like an action show. I'm like, oh, what show is this? It's like, oh, it's Janibio. I'm like, oh, yo, bad. I go in, it's a romance, you know, and I love romance. There's no problem with it, right? But when I was going into it, I was expecting an action, but you know, screw it, I'm watching a romance. So I started watching, I'm like, this is literally below mid. Characters weren't that good for me. The only real character where I was like, oh, I like this character, was the big sister of the girl. I don't even know their names. It just felt all over the place. Like, I don't know what was going on. Some of the romance scenes were good. Like, for example, when she hugged them or they held pinkies, that was dope. I liked it, but everything else was just like for every good moment, it was like straight 24 minutes of trash, 80 minutes of trash, 60 minutes, like it was just bad, and I just couldn't get into it. And I'm big on romance, and I love romance animes, but Janibio just was not for me. And I'm gonna stop rambling on about like the show, because I could go on forever about each and every one of these shows, but I'm gonna stop it right here. It says I've been recording for 10 minutes. I'm not sure how long this video is gonna be, but hopefully it's long enough. Down below, let me know what your least favorite animes are. I'm dying to hear, because bro, if they're anything like mine, you my boy. But honestly, leave that down in the comments. I want to hear from you, please. But anyway, video's over. Hope you guys enjoyed, and like I always say, I am just a weeb. So what do I know? Deuce.